Money doesn't just come from one place. It drips, trickles, flows, and floods into our lives in different ways. Welcome to Drip Trickle Flow Flood, a podcast that explores the power of multiple income streams. We've got merch. That's right. Drip Trickle Flow Flood t-shirts are officially here, and they're as comfy as they are conversation starting. Grab yours at the link in our show notes. All right, everybody. We have my most wanted guest today, Lindsey Moceri, and Tony's better half. Lindsey is an amazing, multi-passionate business owner. She has lots of drip trickles, flows, and floods going on. She has an awesome screen printing business. She's a style influencer, real estate investor, volleyball coach. Maybe you coach other things too, Lindsey. You can tell us about that. Adventurer, content creator, just all of the things. Welcome, Lindsey. I'm so excited that you're joining us today.
Me.
This has been a long time coming. We had tried applying the pressure after Gary was on, Melissa's husband, and it took a while, but we finally talked Lindsey into it.
Yeah, I'm given to peer pressure. So it was a good push.
You took a long time to give into the peer pressure.
Mhm.
Like many
I
months.
see that invite, and I was like, oh,
So we'll give a little background. Lindsey posted something on Instagram about her drip trickle flow flood of the day. And I'm like, great. This means that you're ready for the podcast. So we really put the hard sell on her.
yeah, it worked.
That day you were leaving an Airbnb.
Yes. Yep. So on the daily, yeah, that's often what it looks like is something with the Airbnbs, screen printing, coaching, some kind of social media. I'm not good at that anymore, though. I'm not that consistent with it because everything else is so busy. Yeah, the daily. I was telling Tony the other day, it's not a lot of floods that are happening, lots of drips. And I told him it's like I have a plumbing problem, like just so many little drips. But it isn't a problem. It keeps me busy. It keeps my mind busy. And yeah, most things have a deadline, which is nice for my brain. Like I have a goal and then I'm done and then move on. It is nice.
Those forced deadlines
Exactly.
are
It helps
amazing.
so much.
I don't think I would accomplish anything if it wasn't for forced deadline. So I'll just throw things on things that don't have deadlines because then we get it done.
Yeah, procrastinate. And then I'm like, why did I wait so long? It only took me 20 minutes to do that, but I waited 2 weeks to get it done.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing that it almost takes as long as you give it? So if you have a week to finish a screen printing project, are you the type that would do it at the top of the week and get it out of the way, or will you wait closer to the deadline?
Usually wait closer to the deadline. But oftentimes though, if I do, I'm usually waiting on supplies to show up. And so if they do show up, I try to get it out as quick as possible because customers want that too. If you beat the deadline, it makes you look good.
Yeah, getting it in early. That's true. That definitely makes you look good. All right. Before we dive in, because I want to know all about your background, Lindsey, and like how you became so multi-passionate and was this ingrained in you or not? But before we do that, I have to share a quick story that Lindsey and I were supposed to have a podcast before this podcast.
True.
I'm not going to say the title because we're still going to do it. And it's like going to win a Pulitzer. It's going to be so good. But what's funny is we had a podcast idea like a year before Tony and I started doing Drip Trickle Flow Flood.
It's going to be a good one. It's going to come.
Just wait.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think it's just a matter of starting. Melissa, that's what we did with this one. I'm far more impulsive than Lindsey is, though.
Yeah, we're
Yes.
less impulsive with this idea.
About things and let it marinate for a while and then dive in.
Yeah, we need the marination period.
Mm.
So Lindsey, okay, you have lots of different things. Like you said, you may have a plumbing problem. I think it's like probably more of a plumbing opportunity because you have so many great things going. But were you always this, or did you initially have one stream of income, a job, anything like that? Or did you just go full force into having multiple different things popping?
No, initially I went to beauty school. That was my initial out of high school thing. My dad gave me the advice that you should find something that technology will not take over and do that. College was not my thing. I did running start in high school and was like, no, not going to do a 4-year. And so I was like, maybe beauty school. Okay. Which probably shocked a lot of people because I was a pretty big tomboy for most of my life. Like beauty wasn't passion then. And so I went to beauty school. Expedited that experience because all the women in one place is not exciting. So I got out of that, and I think it was 14 months or something, which is an hourly based thing. So you just have to get so many hours to graduate. I did that, and I'm trying to think. I think I got a job after that, just at the local salon, but knew I wanted more training. And so then I moved to Seattle, worked for Jean Juarez for a while, did pretty well there, and then just decided the city lifestyle wasn't for me. Came back to Bellingham. Somewhere in there, I met Tony. I knew Tony. I'd known Tony since 2nd grade. And our friend reintroduced us. And so we started dating. And then that's when things went nuts. Like we opened a business. We decided to open a salon. And so I've always been kind of one stream hyper focused. Really, I do hyper focus on things. Like I want now to be the best and make it the best and be successful. And so with Tony's help, we definitely jumped right in, dove into the salon business, not knowing anything about it other than my experience behind the chair.
Yeah. We bought a salon. We weren't married yet. Probably. I don't know if that's good. I don't know if that was wise, but so we bought the salon, and it was, what year was it? 2009?
Maybe 8?
Yeah, somewhere in this, right in the middle of a recession. And bought a salon. We didn't have any money. We borrowed the money from my brother. I think the interest payment was a case of beer. He might have charged us a little interest. And so we bought that salon, and there was actually a moment there was all these people. We're in our 20s. We inherited some people. They were mainly booth renters. So in the salon industry, often it's either commission or someone's renting a chair. And these people were renting a chair. So technically had their own business. And we showed up and said, okay, this is how we're doing things. And a couple of them got really mad. And we were sitting there and they go, this isn't how it's done in the salon business. And we're just like, we're not from the salon business. This is how we're doing it now. And we had that one. And then we opened up a second one. And then somebody approached us to buy that first one, and we sold it to them. And then we eventually sold the second one to our manager after our daughter was born. So.
Yeah. And then that's where my second life started, career life. Like I wasn't behind the chair as much anymore. I still did a little bit here and there, but not nearly as much. And so I found out then that I don't like to have idle hands. I like to be busy. I like to do things. And being a mom is a lot. That was the choice we made, that I would stay home with her and Tony would still work. And then after that, I got into fitness, and I was going to Bar 3 a lot. And so they needed an instructor. And so I was like, maybe I should do that. Like I'll do the training. That's fun. And that was something that Harper could come with me to and be in the daycare while I taught class. And so it worked out well in that way. Like I didn't have to find childcare. I didn't have to do this. And it was an outlet for me too, to get out of the house and move my body and have fun with people. Because going from behind the chair to a stay-at-home mom was a huge change. Like social relationships with so many people, to looking at my beautiful child all day long who doesn't talk to me. And so I was like, okay, this is a change. And so I think going to Bar 3 made that change or a little bit more bearable, and just, made it more social again, which was nice. Gosh, and then I don't know.
You were still doing, and you were still doing some hair.
Yeah.
While you did that. And then
I've done a lot of different things.
Then you were
very thankful Tony's so supportive of it. I'm like, guess what I'm gonna do now?
Then you were doing social media management.
Yes.
For a handful of different businesses.
Some just to get started, just to help them catapult their social media. And then some was to fill in for other people that maybe were on maternity leave, and and it was a good income coming in, and I could do it from anywhere.
Flexible. Yeah, that's always been the big thing, is the flexibility.
Definitely with our life, the flexibility is huge. We know that with coaching, I mean, I'm jumping ahead. We do have set times that we have to stay here because it is in person, but a lot of things it's flexible enough that I can manipulate my schedule to make it work if we're going to be gone and not have to worry about a lot of things.
So yeah, your drip trickles and flows have been, you were doing marketing for the coffee shop and then you decided you'd work there a little bit, then a little bit turned into more. And then.
Yes, the barista era.
Yeah.
You were doing that and then
I love coffee, so it worked out really well.
Yes.
And that was fun. Again, social. I got my social moments with that. And then that, I think, coaching took over because that schedule interfered with the barista schedule. And I love coaching so much. So I chose that.
And then you started selling clothes online and doing pop-ups.
Yeah, I did.
Mhm. I bought some of those.
Yep.
I still have them.
Thank you. And yeah, and that filled my kind of shopping void for a while.
Yes.
And that was fun. It was a lot of work though. And again, not always flexible too. If I needed to be places, it would take the whole weekend. And weekends are coveted. We don't want to have to work on the weekends. And if we can create a drip that doesn't happen on the weekend, I think that's the way to go.
Yeah. And then,
for our lifestyle anyway.
and COVID happened. So pop-up stopped.
I was in a shop in Bellingham and that shop closed. So then
That's when you started screen printing.
that's when I started screen printing. Yeah. I had somebody ask me about it and I ended up buying the equipment, just mom and pop shop, like low budge. Here we go. Let's do it. And then it just took off from there, which I was doing right before this.
Yeah.
And do you do that in your house?
I do.
Lindsey? Okay.
The lowest budget setup you could probably have. No, zero overhead, which keeps my costs lower for customers. And I like to have control. So it's just me.
Tony, good profit margin.
Thank you.
I'm delivery boy.
Yeah.
I remember when I added that to my LinkedIn profile as the print house design delivery boy as a joke. And that it like pops up in people's feeds. I was getting like all these congratulations. I'm like, you didn't read this.
Yeah. That's not something you congratulate them.
Oh, did you add it as like a job?
I added it as a job, as a joke, and everyone's like, oh, congratulations on your position.
That's a good story. Having that pop up in your LinkedIn feed. Congrats to Tony on his new role.
Yeah.
Delivery boy. That's a good role though. That's a good business. And then how do you I'm also curious, and we can talk about it specific to the screen printing business, but I assume it's probably consistent across all the different things you've done, Lindsey. But how do you go about making these connections in order to get clients?
A big part of my clientele is the school I coach at.
Okay.
And so that has been wonderful, to be honest. Between youth sports all the way up through high school sports, I have been able to dip my toe into them and just talk to the coaches, talk to the school, talk to the booster club. And they have all been very happy to have me work with them. And yeah, so that has been great. And then from there, it's just kind of word of mouth. Like Tony is often a good mouthpiece for that. He talks to a lot of people. And so he promotes it, which is super helpful.
But you do a lot of sports teams. So
I do.
She's now in different schools, not just the Mount Baker community, but in other school districts also. And so once she gets in, so what Lindsey does for these different programs, she creates her own website for them. It's not public website, but everybody can go to it and order. And so it takes all the pressure off the coaches. It makes it really easy that everybody just goes in, orders. If their name's going to be on it, their number, whatever, they input all that. Coaches don't have to worry about all those things. So it becomes a very seamless process. Coaches don't want to be messing with this stuff. Parents don't want to be messing with this stuff. So to create that seamless. So once one of the sports teams tries it and they go, oh, that sure seemed easy for you. And then the next coach says, I'm going to do that. And that's a big part of how it has grown. New businesses and stuff also. But the sports teams, they're like clockwork. They come around each season and often they want new gear.
Yeah. So it's a new design, which is my favorite part of the whole process, is helping them do a logo design for each season because they want a new one.
Oh, so you're designing too. You're not just printing, you're also graphic design.
So yeah, I'm from the very beginning to the very end, from design back and forth, talking about it with the coaches or customers, all the way to the packaging and writing the name on the bag for the athlete. Like, I separate out every single order and then give it in a box to the coach. So they just call the name and hand it out. So it makes it, hopefully, I think it's very seamless from start to finish for the customer itself. Customer service is my strongest point, probably. Like, I think I get very good customer service, and that's why people keep coming back. But I think that was with hair too. Like, it was always that relationship you're building and communication, and then follow through, and then completion.
The customer service and the quality, you've
Mhm.
really focused on making sure that it's the right material, the right prints for the right material, and all of those things, because it's not all created equally. And so if you aren't using the right prints or the right ink on the right material, it doesn't work, or giving the proper washing instructions with certain
Yeah.
ones. One of the most creative things that I think you've done was with the booster club. So basically what she did is they wanted to sell shirts. And normally it's okay, someone buys, they don't know how many shirts they're going to make. And so this organization will buy a bunch of shirts, and then they end up with a bunch of leftover ones, and now you discount whatever, and they got to lay out the money. What Lindsey did is she would pre-sale all the shirts, and then people could pick them up at the football game or basketball game or whatever. And instead of the booster club ever having to write Lindsey a check, after the sales were done, Lindsey actually just wrote a check to the booster club. So the organization never had to lay out any money. They never risked $1.
Yeah, and they had their personalized website that throughout the year, it's annual, so it doesn't close. Like, some have pre-order deadline. There are deadlines, but the website is open year long, and I'll add new stuff to it. And it's all custom to that school, though. You're not going to find it necessarily somewhere else, the same logo with a different school on it. It's all specific to Mount Baker. And again, the design piece is fun because I decided to design a logo that was very specific to them, with all the 3 elementary schools on it, tying into the high school. And it was just like a fun project too. And then I see the community wearing it, which is even more fun.
Oh, this is so cool. I love this, what a cool, end-to-end service, which seems like, I don't know much about this industry, but what I do know of it, it doesn't seem like anyone's doing it as thoroughly as you're doing it. And maybe they're designing and printing, but they're not thinking about separating the bags and handwriting the names on it. It's all those little touches you're putting in, which I think is very cool. It's like tiny touches to make your customer's day.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, yeah, customer service is what it comes.
So it's funny. Everybody's always, oh, Tony, you're so entrepreneurial, do all these things and blah, blah, blah. And they don't know that a lot of this stuff is like, Lindsey's the instigator. She's actually the amount of things that she's doing.
I was telling Tony, even coming out here, I was like, I don't know. I like to stay a little elusive. Like, I don't necessarily like to throw it all out there, keep people guessing.
He knows what I'm doing because I'm a blabbermouth.
Yeah. Yep.
Lindsey's more mysterious. That's why you were my most wanted guest, because I'm like, you're so mysterious. We need to. We just given him a taste today.
Yeah. So,
And then,
a trickle.
yeah, a little trickle. Yes, exactly. But
Yeah,
that's
and-
true. She's the mastermind behind a lot of the things, including, which I know you've talked about on the podcast before, Tony, a lot of the real estate that you're doing. So sometimes Lindsey sees some of those properties, or is the impetus behind that.
She sends me stuff constantly.
So tell me about that. I want to know, what is this?
Like, oh, look at this $10 million house in
Yeah.
Hawaii. What about this one?
Yeah.
We need a flood for that one.
It's interesting. Yeah, I know. We need go get a listener. Please go get us a bunch more subscribers so we can buy that $10 million house. So yeah, it's interesting. So when we first got together, we knew each other. So that was good. But Lindsey showed up at my house one day. We were supposed to go on a date. I think it was a Friday night. And she gets to the door, and I don't know, we hadn't talked to her. She gets to the door, and I go, I got to go. And I got a problem with a rental. And I think you were probably thinking jerk.
It's
And
like, he's dodging me. Okay, I'm done.
yeah, but fortunately we did know each other. So she gave me another chance, and that just gave her a glimpse in. And at that point, I was like doing all the things with the rentals. Like something broke, I had to go fix it. There wasn't the cash flow to pay someone to go do it. So she got a glimpse of that. And then I actually think our house on Iron Street, you found that one. And we were living in a condo at the time, and the plan was to move into that house. And here we are 20-ish years later. Is that true?
Yeah.
Holy cow. Yeah, 20-ish years later. And
Not in the Iron Street house.
no,
Or
we've
the condo.
or in the condo. We've never moved in. We never moved into that house. It's been a rental the entire time, but that was definitely a house that I bought before we were married that Lindsey had found. And actually my cousin just started going to the local college here, and she's living there now, which is cool.
Oh,
And
so you hold on to it.
yeah, still have it. And so, yeah, Lindsey definitely, she's not actively involved in managing any of our investment properties, long-term investment properties. She does all the Airbnb stuff. I'm not that involved in it, aside from going over there if something's got to be cleaned up or picked up or take the garbage can out or something like that, bring over some yard games. But yeah, she manages that piece of it. And again, it all comes back to that customer service aspect of it, where she's just all over communicating with the guests and making sure the place is spotless and 5-star reviews and communicating with the cleaners and all that.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
No, does that eat up a good amount of your time, Lindsey, doing the rental property management or the vacation property management?
Yes. I was just going to say that it takes a lot of time. I manage 3 of them. One is we own one, and then Tony's parents own one, and then my mom and dad own one, and I manage all 3 of them. But I am the sole communicator between all the guests and myself. And so it does take a lot of time. Almost every single day I'm communicating with a guest or my cleaners, which I have a great staff, thank goodness, that I can trust. And yeah, but it's a good one to have that's also remote, because I can trust that my housekeeping staff or hospitality staff is going to take care of everything if I'm gone. One is in Maui, and so I really have to trust that one. And that one, it might take the most time, I would say. It is,
especially this time of year.
it's the busiest this time of year. So it is on the daily. I'm either communicating with guests that are there, or with guests that are coming, or guests that have already checked out, and then communicating with my housekeeper there, or the property manager that's on site, that lives on site. So there's a lot to do with that one. But again, like Tony says, it comes down to customer service, responding almost immediately to everybody. Nobody wants to wait. And so if they have a question, I want to respond yesterday. And I feel like I am pretty good about that, maybe too good about it sometimes, that I am constantly maybe looking at my phone. And the time difference between here and Maui is challenging. Some guests check in very late at night, and it's 1 a.m. here. And I'm like, okay, but I have to make sure they're going to get in, because if they have a question, I need to be up. And so it's a lot. It's a lot of work. And
so how do you do it? Do you like sleep with your phone?
Usually don't sleep with my phone. I usually have it not in the bedroom, but on check-in days, I do have it with me, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that it does go seamless for them, because sometimes the door code doesn't work, or there's little things that happen.
And she can remotely change all the door codes from her phone. So if there's a code that's not working, she can create a new one. Yeah. And then right now, so you mentioned the volleyball, right?
Yep.
You're in season now. And now that you're coaching high school too,
I'm in
feels
season.
like the season never ends.
Yeah. With high school, my head coach and I are very involved and have become good friends, which is great. We talk on every single day. If I don't see her 5 days a week, we're talking 7 days a week. And so it has been fun though. And like, high school is different than junior high in a lot of ways. And I'm in the junior high season right now. I coach the 8th grade team. And yeah, I don't know. It's very fulfilling. And it's so neat to see these kids from 7th grade, because I get to see them in 7th grade also, all the way up to 12th grade, and see just how, not only in volleyball they've developed, but just as a human being in general, which I take that as my biggest job. I want them to become productive members of society outside of the gym and be kind and respectful and just good humans. And then if that translates into a good volleyball player, amen. So yeah, it's very fulfilling to see how these little humans can blossom to great people.
And the relationships go on. You've coached or I've coached people that help us with the Airbnbs, and some of them live in our rentals and weddings. Those relationships that you can make at a very young age, they can continue on. We've bought a car from kids that I coached a million years ago. And so it is cool. And I guess I don't talk about this much on the podcast, but between our coaching and our daughter playing, we spend a lot of time in gyms supporting the other programs too. We go and watch the kids that we've coached in other sports play their other sports. So Friday we'll be going to a girls' high school basketball game, even though we're not coaching it, but we know
Our athletes are on the team.
Yeah. And yeah, we spent a lot of time in gyms.
Well, and at the school, which in the community we live in is a big part of the community, is the school district itself. And I don't know, we take pride in that though, being involved and hopefully being a positive impact and a familiar face to kids that might need that smile and hello today. I can go a long ways. That's why we're there.
Yeah. And that's why that's why Drip Trickle Flow Flood works for us, is to create the creativity and the flexibility to set our schedule, get our work done when we need to get it done, whether you get up early or have to work late or whatever it is. With that, having that flexibility that we can set the schedule really does allow for us to do all the things.
I also like how they might be more than drips, but like all your water is in the same pond in a way, even though you're doing like different things. It seems like it's all merging together because you have the coaching, which leads to the screen printing business, it's just all this community involvement. And that's awesome because it's obviously very mission driven for you, Lindsey, and for both of you.
Yeah.
But it's also probably awesome from not feeling all over the place. So you're not code switching between a whole bunch of stuff. A lot of it is centering around the relationships that you've built and like the mission that you have to be this positive force in your community. So I think that's really cool and a good thing to keep in mind for our listeners, because we get that a lot where people feel like, oh, I don't want to switch between 10 different things. It's too much. My brain doesn't work that way. And I think you're showing an example of, yes, you're doing different things, but it feels like we're in the same pond.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, actually. I've never thought of it that way. It is very much in the same pond. And yeah, I like that.
And I think a lot of it goes back to our episode with Ronnie, which I'm looking at my phone right now to find out which episode that was, but it was like 3 episodes ago or something. And we were talking about all of her different things. And Lindsey is similar and I'm similar in it, that they're using different parts of our brain and body and all those things where, yeah, Lindsey's doing some design work and responding to guests, looking at her phone and then printing some things, but then she's going to the gym and tossing volleyballs to the girls. But so it isn't just, oh man, we have 8 hours of staring at this computer screen, which for me is just like sucks the life right out of me. When it's using these different muscles, feels a lot different.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. I would, yeah. Because like with screen printing, I'm moving the whole time and standing and doing things. But yeah, my sitting at the computer time is probably just a couple hours a day.
And you like that, right? You like to keep moving? Yeah.
If you ask my mom and dad, they would say no. Growing up. Curious.
Are your mom and dad very active?
They're entrepreneur. I can't even say the word. Yeah, they have always owned their own business, which I think is what both Tony and I, both are parents. So I couldn't imagine not owning my own business. I have worked for people. I have had jobs, and those jobs made me decide what I did not want to do and what I did want to do. I didn't want to be a dishwasher the rest of my life. I knew that much. Or could my dad shop for him the rest of my life?
Her dad had a diesel mechanic business. So cleaning was not just sweeping the floor at a grocery store.
Dirty work. Yeah. Taught me a lot though. Like I learned a lot. Again, what I didn't want to do. But yeah, our parents were they always had flexible schedules though. And so I think maybe we saw that they were at most of our things and always available if we needed them for something, available to drive us to our friend's house most of the time.
Maybe, I don't know. There was
We live in the middle of nowhere. We both grew up in the middle of nowhere, so we had to make big plans to hang out.
I remember my parents would go to work and I'd spend the whole summer day trying to get me and my friends figure out how to get to each other's house. We're riding our bike down highways. There's no way we'd let Harper do right now, but it was a different world.
Yeah.
That was a different time. A very different time. The things that we've probably all done and wondering how we're still
Ronnie
here.
was on episode 44.
Oh, yes, episode 44. And you were mentioning that because she teaches local fitness dance classes and also Cole's clients from that, right?
She does this show. Ronnie has the day where she's doing her business management stuff, her bookkeeping or tax stuff. And then maybe she's looking through some jewelry. And then next thing you know, she's teaching a Zumba class. So just kind of, you have this day that, yes, everything is an income stream, but it doesn't necessarily feel like you're at work the whole time.
It's not a 9 to 5 behind a desk. It's usually like a 8 to 9.
More hours, but it keeps it spicy.
Yeah.
Lots of fun stuff to do. Anything else on the horizon for you, Lindsey? Like any other businesses you're like, this is next for me?
No, I'm always looking though. I don't know what.
Sounds like you two are starting a podcast.
That's
Yes.
I always have ideas. That is for sure. But I don't think anything that's actually in the works.
One of the things that prevents Lindsey and I from doing new things is when we're in coaching season, we feel very busy. So Lindsey's hours are very limited right now.
Yes. So like today, Monday through Friday, my days are usually, if Tony's at home, I get Harper to school and then my day starts after that. So that's 8:15. But then I only have until about 2 o'clock to get things done because then I get to go to the gym and coach at 2:30 till 5. And then 5, it's like dinner time. I get home, it's 5:30, we make dinner, and then I try not to work after that. I have been trying to be better of having office hours. Like when I am available, I'll say we'll be available all night long, like answering emails, answering messages. And I just learned that's not good for me or my family. So I try to be more present unless curling's on.
Yeah. I've been watching a lot of curling lately.
Then I will answer emails.
Gary has been too.
I love
Tony knows all the rules.
Maybe Gary wants to go curling with me. We can go just right across the border.
Really? Oh, he absolutely would, because we were just talking about
that, but I don't want to keep watching it on the Olympic. But done with that. I'm like, anything else?
It's my favorite Winter Olympic event, which I'm sure is a controversial statement, but I love it.
When it was on 4 years ago, right? Was the Winter Olympics previously? So when it was on then, we were really into watching it. And then this year, I just feel so bored. Like I don't know. I don't think anything really changed. I just am like, this is not capturing my attention. And Gary's, it's so boring, but then it's always on. So I know it can't be that boring for him. And he did say, he was like, oh, I wonder where we could go curling. And I think that's probably what he was referencing over the border. But he would definitely go with you. That is an interesting sport. Apparently one of the players is like blowing up on social media now, though. Like supposedly, I don't know who it is, or even what team they're on. Italy, maybe. But they're like,
the gal on Italy who was also on the mixed doubles team. She's very popular.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the one US woman who also, so some of them got like this airtime almost before, because there was like the men's and women's competition. And then now they're on on the women's team or whatever. So they've gotten all this airtime. I remember somebody made the comment, every time I turn on the TV, it's this same lady sliding the stone towards me.
Maybe it's good for their Drip Trickle Flow Flood because they can be an influencer.
Yeah.
You don't make a lot of money being an Olympian.
Olympic athlete. No, they don't get barely any money for how much training they put into it.
I just like it because curling's got to be it's the closest thing to a yard game in the Olympics, at least winter. I guess we got badminton in the Summer Olympics, although their badminton and my badminton are very different.
It is different, only a little bit. Lindsey, I'm so excited that you came on to chat with us. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having
listening.
me. It's been fun.
Hopefully, we can have you back again if you're ever open to it, but we respect your mystery as well.
Maybe I'll have something else going on. Who knows?
Maybe it'll be our podcast.
Yeah.
On to the next.
Volleyball's over.
Yes, not during volleyball season. This will require too much creative energy.
Yeah.
No, you'll be in no contact for a while.
Until June.
Till June, yeah.
Yeah. So I have I have
You'll
a
have a
few
couple
months.
months, yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Lindsey. And thank you, everybody, for listening today. If you like this episode, please rate and review on your favorite podcast platform. And we'll see you next time on Drip Trickle Flow Flood. Bye, everybody.